lot of things about Dr. Maykanti Kachala Barrow are in the superlative. The Mr. Bauchi State-born mechanical engineer obtained distinction in his West African School Certificate examinations in 1978, earned a first-class honors first degree from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria in 1982, traversed almost the entire strata of NNPC divisions in the course of his service to the corporation, crowning defeat on 4th July 2016 as the 18th Group Managing Director of the corporation.
Leverage on our equity positions, support the development of key gas assets for both domestic and export, as well as pursue the expansion of gas network across the country to bring development to all parts of the country, thereby creating business opportunities for NNPC.
Commencing his career in NNPC in 1991 as engineering manager, National Engineering and Technical Company NETCO, Dr. Barrow worked in various other technical divisions of NNPC as manager, Gas Department of the National Petroleum Investment Management Services, NAPIMS, 1993 to 1997. Executive Director Operations, Nigerian Gas Company, NGC, Warri, 1999. Managing Director, Hyson, Nigeria Limited, 2004. Group General Manager, Greenfield Refinery Project Division, 2006 to 2007. Group General Manager, NAPIMS. Group General Manager, Liquefied Natural Gas Investment Management Services, LIMS, 2015. And Group Executive Director, Exploration and Production in August 2015. In March 2016, he was appointed Technical Advisor, Gas Matters, to the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, zooming to the peak of his career on 4th July 2019 as the corporation's helmsman. Dr. Maykanti Barrow appeared prepared for the challenging job of the NNPC Group Managing Directorship, given the way and manner he hit the ground running no sooner than he assumed office, as on 8th July 2016, he rolled out his Marshall Plan to turn the industry around. Termed the 12 Buffer, the initiative involves the following: developing strategies to ensure security of industry assets and operations, evolving new business models to bolster performance, exploring ways to relieve government of the burden of cash calls obligation, growing the nation's reserves and production, increasing the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company NPDC's production, boosting gas development, effecting refineries upgrade and expansion, boosting renewable energy, prioritizing frontier exploration, revitalizing oil and gas infrastructures across the country, intensifying the drive towards making venture businesses of NNPC profitable and ensure service delivery, as well as prioritizing staff welfare.
The number one priority is security. We will create an all-inclusive advisory council on security. The council will be broad-based with representatives from NNPC, the IOCs, in-house unions.
There is victory for us. Victory! There is victory for us.
Taking security issues as paramount, he visited top brass security personnel head offices to drum support for his goal to ensure tranquility in the industry's areas of operations. The Defense Headquarters, the State Security Service Office, Civil Defense, Defense Intelligence, as well as the Police Headquarters, all became places of rendezvous for the determined Chief Executive of the National Oil Company, who had a burning desire to turn things around.
The high point of this visit, sir, is to confer with you on matters of national strategic security importance as it affects the operations of NNPC, and to seek further support and cooperation as well as collaboration.
As Dr. Barrow committed himself and his management team to tightening the noose around miscreants who were a thorn in the industry, breaching oil and gas facilities, he simultaneously undertook inspection tour of NNPC assets across the country to gauge the level of dilapidation therein. Even at that, he did not appear to be satisfied with his personal observation as he rallied past group managing directors of the corporation to tap from the fountain of their experiences to bring about the desired change in the fortunes of NNPC and the oil and gas industry in the country. Above all, he doggedly spent sleepless nights to perfect implementation strategies of the 12 buffers.
They have given me good ideas how I should approach the security issues by synthesizing what the industry has to offer as to solutions and convey these solutions to the right quarters within government.
It is therefore not a surprise that success came the way of his management in torrents, with security situation in areas of operation tamed. Crude oil production soared from the low-level average daily production of 1.2 million barrels in 2016 to the current well over 2 million barrels per day. The Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, NPDC, NNPC's flagship E&P company, also impacted on the soaring production figures as it declared 52% daily crude oil production growth in 2018 alone. Under Dr. Barrow-led management, NPDC's average production from the company's operated assets grew from an average of 108,000 barrels of oil per day in 2017 to 165,000 barrels of oil per day in 2018, a feat regarded as the strongest production growth within the oil industry in recent times. It is on record that it was during the tenure of Dr. Pt.2 that the 200,000 barrels per day crude oil addition by the Egina Floating Production Storage and Offloading FPSO was completed and sailed away to location in August 2018. The project achieved first oil at 11:20 p.m. on 29th December 2018.
A clear demonstration of the growing efficacy of the Nigerian Content Act. On our part, NNPC is strongly committed to the successful implementation of all provisions of this act.
Under his watch, as the helmsman of NNPC, the nation was able to save $1.7 billion from renegotiating cash call arrears of $6.8 billion to $5.1 billion with the corporation's joint venture partners. The balance is scheduled for repayment over a 5-year tenor plan. Already, the corporation has defrayed $1.5 billion of the arrears. Only last week, at a colorful ceremony held in his office in Abuja, Dr. Barrow signed off the completion of cash call arrears owed Mobile Producing Nigeria Unlimited, MPNU, with a payment of $833.57 million.
To close out at least one of the repayment agreements, it is quite an honor, and it's always good for one to complete the race that he started.
I would like to take this opportunity to commend the leadership of NNPC, and especially the Group Managing Director, Dr. McCanty, the good doctor. The MPN repayment agreement was finally closed.
Other milestones achieved by NNPC under the purview of Dr. Barrow in the upstream sector was the reduction in contracting cycle for upstream operations to 9 months from an average of 24 months, with the corporation targeting a 6-month cycle, and the lowering of crude oil production costs from $27 per barrel to $22 per barrel, with plans to drive the figure even lower. A major achievement with Dr. Barrow in the saddle of NNPC is a renewed focus on frontier basins, leading to spot-in of Kolmani River 2 well on 2nd February this year by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari. Drilling on the well has passed encouraging level, even as the NNPC Frontier Exploration Services, the division that superintends the inland basins exploration, has been recently moved to the upstream division of the corporation in order to afford it more visibility and empowerment to execute its mandate.
Let me commend NNPC for expanding its exploration outreach into the inland basins with a view to improving the nation's oil and gas reserves, drive oil and gas production, and spin off socio-economic activities across the country.
Dr. Barrow-led NNPC management was no less short of attaining giant strides in the midstream, as during its tenure, Nigeria achieved an average national daily gas production of 7.90 billion standard cubic feet in 2018, translating to 3% above the 2017 average daily gas production of 7.67 billion standard cubic feet. Domestic gas supply capacity was also stable at about 1,700 million standard cubic feet per day, with an average of 1.3 billion standard cubic feet supplied daily to the domestic market due to power evacuation challenges caused by frequency management as a result of re-injection of allocated load by distribution companies DISCOs, as well as transmission line constraints.
In order to see that we execute our mandate to the nation, to Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, to ensure that the nation is energy sufficient, be it in terms of gas to power plants or actual liquid hydrocarbons in terms of petrol, PMS, diesel, kerosene.
Dr. Barrow-led management consolidated plans to bridge the medium-term domestic gas supply deficit by 2020 through the corporation's 7 critical gas development projects and CGDPs, as a reputable project management consulting firm is already collaborating with an NNPC team to achieve accelerated implementation of the projects. Its full implementation would boost domestic gas supply from about 1.5 billion standard cubic feet per day by 2020, with a corresponding 500% increase in power generation and stimulation of gas-based industrialization.
We believe that the private sector-driven project should deliver much faster, and we came up with the structure outside the JB.
For us in SEPLA, this is a special day that announces a landmark relationship with our big father, NNPC, with a charge to deliver value to the Nigerian economy.
Key gas pipeline infrastructure projects executed during his tenure include Escravos Lagos Pipeline System, ELPS-2, Obiafo Obrikom Oben, OB3, Odidiwori Expansion Pipeline, OWEP, Trans-Nigeria Pipeline Project, TNGP, Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano, AKK Pipeline, our Nigeria-Morocco Gas Pipeline, NGMP Project. In the midstream refinery subsector, Dr. Maikanti Barrow is exceeding NNPC, having laid a solid background for the rehabilitation of the nation's 3 refineries in Port Harcourt, Kaduna and Warri to boost their capacity utilization. Indeed, as of March this year, the first phase of the rehabilitation of the 210,000 barrels per day capacity Port Harcourt refinery complex that comprises the 60,000 barrels per day old refinery built in 1965 and the 150,000 barrels per day new refinery was kick-started. The project is being executed by Milan-based Mer Technimon SPA in collaboration with its Nigerian affiliate Technimon Nigeria. At the end of the phase 1, the refinery complex should reach 60% capacity utilization.
In this particular phase, we're essentially going to open up every equipment and also review every flow system that is here. We will also look at all the various logistics transducers. So essentially it's a thorough inspection.
With the commitment of all parties involved, partner and stakeholder, we are sure that NNPC will be able to celebrate the revamping of this refinery in Port Harcourt, restored to its full capacity in time, on schedule, and in full safety.
In the downstream sector, the corporation, under the leadership of Dr. Barrow, with the support of President Muhammadu Buhari and the resilience and hard work of NNPC staff, has kept the country wet. Currently, the nation enjoys a stable supply of petroleum products. To ensure supply and distribution stability, many of the corporation's depots have been resuscitated and put into use through decanting of over 140 million liters of PMS nationwide, with systems 2B and 2E pipelines supplying petroleum products to southwest, south-south, and southeast regions having been resuscitated.
I call him a reformer, R for reformer, T is a transformer, and A is an actualizer. You know, he walks his talk. He promised that this depot will be resuscitated. It has been resuscitated.
He has done very, very well. I travel a lot. There's no part of this country where I don't go because of this my job. And there's no way we cannot find fuel. And he has done very, very well. I wish he will remain there forever.
There is stability in the rate of fuel supply. That is a good plus.
Mr. President have just solved the problem of fuel in Nigeria forever. I hope it's going to be forever.
In the area of institutional transparency and accountability, the Barrow-led management scored high. Indeed, early in the year, the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, NEITI, the industry transparency watchdog, commended the improvements that have been brought to bear in the processes and procedures of NNPC by the Dr. Barrow-led management. While the Barrow-led management of NNPC won accolades in the core industry matrices, so did it in respect of maintaining industrial harmony. He led a management team that had robust cordial relations with the two in-house unions, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, and the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, the PEN. No wonder that throughout the 3 years of his tenure, there was not a single industrial upheaval.
The giant strides in the industry have been made possible by numerous individuals and corporate organizations who, through ingenious creativities, added improved value to several oil and gas tools, products, and projects in Nigeria.
Talk now, do. Talk now, do. Talk and do. We are very much happy, and we want to say top management here that your name will be written in every staff of NNPC mind. Whether you're retired or you're in service, you will never be forgotten.
A lot of things about Dr. Maikanti Kachala Barrow are in the superlative. The Misau Bauchi State-born mechanical engineer obtained distinction in his West African School Certificate examinations in 1978, earned a first-class honors first degree from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria in 1982, traversed almost the entire strata of NNPC divisions in the course of his service to the corporation, crowning defeat on 4th July 2016 as the 18th Group Managing Director of the corporation.
Leverage on our equity positions to support the development of key gas assets for both domestic and export, as well as pursue the expansion of gas network across the country to bring development to all parts of the country, thereby creating business opportunities for NNPC.
Commencing his career in NNPC in 1991 as engineering manager, National Engineering and Technical Company NETCO, Dr. Barrow worked in various other technical divisions of NNPC as manager, Gas Department of the National Petroleum Investment Management Services, NAPIMS, 1993 to 1997. Executive Director Operations, Nigerian Gas Company, NGC, Warri, 1999. Managing Director, Hyson, Nigeria Limited, 2004. Group General Manager, Greenfield Refinery Project Division, 2006 to 2007. Group General Manager, NAPIMS. Group General Manager, Liquefied Natural Gas Investment Management Services, LIMS, 2015. And Group Executive Director, Exploration and Production in August 2015. In March 2016, he was appointed Technical Advisor, Gas Matters, to the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, zooming to the peak of his career on 4th July 2019 as the corporation's helmsman. Dr. Pt.2 appeared prepared for the challenging job of the NNPC Group Managing Directorship, given the way and manner he hit the ground running no sooner than he assumed office, as on 8th July 2016, he rolled out his Marshall Plan to turn the industry around, termed the 12 Buffer. The initiative involves the following: developing strategies to ensure security of industry assets and operations, evolving new business models to bolster performance, exploring ways to relieve government of the burden of cash calls obligation, growing the nation's reserves and production, increasing the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company NPDC's production, boosting gas development, effecting refineries upgrade and expansion, boosting renewable energy, prioritizing frontier exploration, revitalizing oil and gas infrastructures across the country, intensifying the drive towards making venture businesses of NNPC profitable and ensure service delivery, as well as prioritizing staff welfare.
The number one priority is security. We will create an all-inclusive advisory council on security. The council will be broad-based with representatives from NNPC, the IOCs, in-house unions.
There is victory for us. Victory, there is victory for us.
Taking security issues as paramount, he visited top brass security personnel head offices.
Wonderful. Please put our hands together for the choir. This is the NNPC GMD Quality Choir. They are indeed our staff from Port Harcourt. They are all our staff from Port Harcourt. Ladies and gentlemen, this is to underscore the fact that the NNPC...
Statutorily, Dr. Mekantibaru retired yesterday, Sunday, but the ceremonial handover was moved to today, Monday, to give an outstanding leader, according to experts here, a befitting farewell. And yesterday, Malam Mele Kolo, a fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Dr. Baru is well respected within the profession for his outstanding pedigree. A veteran of NNPC, Mekanti Baru rose through the rank, having served in various capacities, where experts say he continued to distinguish himself to become the 18th GMD of the NNPC. And soon we'll be hearing from the man of the moment, who will be addressing this august gathering in July, where the amphitheater of the NNPC is genuinely filled to capacity. And from outside, we have twice the number of people also waiting to be part of a historic moment.
One man who represents a key stakeholder in the oil and gas value chain. I'm talking about the national chairman of PTD. PTD is Petroleum Tanker Drivers Association of Nigeria. This group, if they sneeze, the entire country catches cold. But we are happy that they've been doing so well with the GMD, and they have given us the awards that are going to support us as much as possible. He is Otumba Salman Oladiti. Please put your hands together for him. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we also have here this morning the Executive Secretary of the PPPRA, Alhaji Abubakar Saidu. Please put your hands together for him. We also have the Executive Secretary of PEF. Executive Secretary of PEF, please, you are most welcome. Of goodwill who are hooked onto this program from all parts of the globe, and particularly our staff who are also watching from all parts of this country, that today we have a huge event on our hands. We are glad about what is happening. It is spectacular, it is marvelous, and it is gracious. We are inching towards the key items that we have on today's program. We shan't keep you here for too long, but we want to make sure that you have real comfort with us here today. We want to make sure that you savor this wonderful moment that we have packaged for today's key event. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I will appeal to us all at this point to please take our seats wherever we want to sit. Yes, I mean it. Please take your seats wherever you want to sit. I don't want the exit or the aisle to be blocked by anybody. And at this point, I wouldn't want any form of distractions. Please, we need to really, really respect ourselves this time, because we have real elder statesmen seated here with us this morning. And this is a very key event. Please, if your phone is not on the silent or vibrate mode, please have it set there now, because we don't want any distraction from now henceforth. Distinguished, thank you for this silence that I have observed for this moment. You are a very wonderful audience. Please put your hands together for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. At this point, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to, with all very due respect, with so much pleasure, with so much thankfulness to the Most High God, and with all the joy in our hearts here, very, very, very respectfully, and as I say this, I know that even the former GMD are still agile. I have seen it.
I will request us all, including those of us who are watching from outside the theater, to please listen attentively as I invite our great icon, the colossus of our time, the man of possibilities, our group managing director, Dr. Mekanti Tachala Baru, fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Engineering, and also fellow and of engineers, to please deliver his valediction. I salute you, sir.
Making his way to the podium there is the outgoing group managing director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, about to give his valediction. And this is a speech that a lot of people have been looking forward to. The shoes that are about to be filled are very big shoes, and this will be a very important moment for the new group managing director to know what is expected of him as he comes into office. And of course, this valediction comes at a very important time for the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. And as Mr. Mekanti Baru is still trying to get it together so we can hear this valediction as we go into the next phase for the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation.